it's Dr. Toya here, and welcome to the By Default Highlight Reel, where we highlight our business owners by bringing you videos and interviews so that they can tell their stories in their own words. Please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more episodes. I hope you enjoy. Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Toya here, and I am joined by Liz, the founder and CEO of Pull Up Card Game. Welcome, Liz.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I know we've been trying to do this for a little bit, so I'm excited.
Likewise.
Yes. All right, so before we get into talking about Pull Up, please tell our viewers a little bit more about you.
Yeah, so hey everyone, Liz Renee, she, her, and I am the founder and CEO of Pull Up Card Game, the first Black collegiate drinking card game that will give you nostalgia and make you pull up, also known as drink. I am a proud first generation college graduate, first generation US born, and I am an alumna of the University of Georgia. We recently won the National Football Championship for the first time in 41 years. So,
wow.
So go Dogs.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. I know you are very proud.
Yes, indeed. It was a long time coming.
All right, so tell me a little bit more about the story behind Pull Up.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I'm a proud Black alumna, and I also went to a predominantly white school, University of Georgia. At the time, it was only 8% of students on campus that identified as Black. However, interestingly enough, even though there were only 8% of students on campus, I still felt very supported by the Black students who were present on campus and the alumni when I graduated. So with that being said, like my college experience is very special to me, so much so that every single year during the holidays, I get together with my friends from college and we just, we connect because now we've moved everywhere and it's the only time of year we can all truly get together. But we play the same games. I won't name games because I don't want to, clearly we're playing the same games because they're fun, but it gets old. So One year I whipped out some note cards and I was like, the RA in me was like, I got this. We're going to come up with an icebreaker. We're going to switch things up. I wrote down some questions about our times at UGA and literally hours of laughing, reminiscing, and drinking later, like a friend pulled me to the side and was like, you should make this a card game. And then I guess with COVID being at home, I had some extra time on my hands to make it an actual game.
Yeah, that's great. And you know what you said about having the community on your campus, even though you went to PWI, I feel like that kind of happens. A lot of people I know who went to majority schools, they say they had a great experiences because like you're such a small community, everybody kind of, sticks together. So that's not surprising that you had such a strong community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you had the idea, you made the cards for your group of friends. How did you go from that to now having your cards, having your brand everywhere, social media presence? Tell me all of it.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think it definitely took time. I think the easiest part was coming up with questions because I already had my 20 note cards and then I really pulled from my authentic like college experience to figure out like what are the questions I wanted to ask. But then, of course, when you make something yourself, you think it's good, but it was important that I received honest feedback from alumni across universities. So Ivy Leagues, PWIs, HBCUs, and I got them together virtually on Zoom to play the game. And I used those focus groups and the feedback to refine questions, replace questions, and add new ones. And so from there, working with a friend to design the actual like box and the cards that you see as it is today, and finding a manufacturer. The manufacturer piece was not as easy as I thought it would be. I thought I could just Google and maybe use Vistaprint to print a card game. No. This is a whole other world. So I was able to find a US-based manufacturer that answered all of the questions I had. That was very important. This was my first time developing a product. I had so many questions that maybe to someone in the business were silly questions, but for me, it was important for me to get some clarity before I finally had hundreds of these delivered to my home. And then finally, in November of 2020 was the launch, and had a whole bunch of pre-orders come through, and finally the physical cards came and were delivered to me by January 13th. I remember this, of 2021.
Oh, great. So how did you even have pre-orders? Like, what were you doing to get all those orders?
Yeah. So before I decided to launch in November, I let like my close friends, my line sisters know that I had a very special announcement coming up, and I would let them know the day of the launch so they could spread the word.
Nice.
And we had an Instagram filter where you were able to kind of play the game in your Instagram stories to kind of like get people to be like, what is this? Let me play this. And so with kind of the anticipation of something's coming, I did it on my Instagram page too. I said, I have a big announcement in 24 hours. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
People, of course, they were like, are you pregnant?
Right.
Are you getting married? And it's like, geez, can a woman have another announcement outside of those things?
Yeah.
And then finally, by the time I made the announcement, like we, within the 24 hours, had 200 followers just based off of our networks alone, the anticipation and word of mouth.
Yeah, nice. And you mentioned Line Sisters. What sorority are you part of?
Oh, I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and I crossed at the University of Georgia Zeta Psi chapter.
Wonderful. I know you guys just had your Founders Day, so I wanted to give you a little, shout there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell me, I know you mentioned one challenge already, but tell me another challenge that you have had to face when starting your business.
Yeah. So in addition to like we talked about, manufacturers trying to find a manufacturer where buying the cards would still make sense when it's time to sell the cards at a competitive price point. And then I would also say, for me in my business, I did not get started with a Kickstarter campaign. I literally had some funds of my own, my credit card, and I said, Lord, let's at least pay this back so I could pay, the credit card debt back off. A lot of other card games, you'll notice they have Kickstarter campaigns where they do crowdfunding to get the money, which is, there are pros and cons to that. That's difficult to do. And it's amazing to see card games have success in that way. But for me, it was like, look, I'm going to spend my money out of pocket to see how this goes. And now I'm realizing that as my business scales, funding out of pocket is not going to be sustainable in the long term. So now I won't say that it's an obstacle. I'll say it's a learning curve or a learning opportunity for 2022 is how can I identify funding opportunities that make sense for where I am in my business? Grants, there are a lot of grants out there. And because that's free money, quote unquote, it's very competitive. So, you can apply, but a lot of people are applying for that money. Investors, like, I don't know right now if I'm at the point where I'm willing to give up a certain amount of equity for my company. Business financing, loans, I'm like, I already started this on my credit card. Do I really want to take on a loan with interest right now? So I'd say my learning goal for this year is identifying the funding opportunity that makes most sense for me. And maybe it will be crowdfunding in the future, but just still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, and I'm sure you will. And there are lots of resources out there. We got ahead of ourselves. So for people who don't know, I don't know why you would know by now, but tell us exactly, what is Pull Up about? How do you play?
Yes. So Pull Up Card Game is all about the Black collegiate experience. And when I say Black collegiate, initially, a lot of people who come to my table at vendor events, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't go to an HBCU. And I'm like, neither did I. I went to the University of Georgia. So Black collegiate experience means this card game is for anyone who has stepped foot on a college campus and has had the Black, experience, specifically on that campus. So you and I have talked about, for someone who maybe moved to the US to go to college, or, this is their first time, in another state, et cetera, your experience might be a little bit different, but no matter your experience, your Black excellence deserves to be celebrated. And so another way to play the game specifically is there are no winners or losers, because we believe that Black excellence deserves to be celebrated and not competed. So it's a conversational game. All you do is you pull a card, you read what it says. It's either going to ask you a question or tell you to do something.
Right.
And no matter what, it's either going to give you nostalgia, make you drink, or probably do both.
Okay. Perfect. And then tell me about the name. Why did you choose that name?
Yeah. So actually, when we first started the game, and I guess that's kind of another like learning opportunity, we called the game Blackout. We wanted to have this be a drinking game and also grounded in the college experience. So just thinking about the different names and like phrases that had to do with drinking in college, just like brainstorming. So came up with Blackout. And then finally, when it was time to go ahead and move forward with trademarking the name and going through that process, found out that there were other card games that had Blackout in the name, even though their concepts were different and it was spelled differently. But that still would be considered confusion in the market. So once I learned that, I was kind of bummed. But then I realized most of my cards say PO-UP on it.
Well, then there you go.
So asked a few friends like, hey, I have to change the name. What do you think? And I think a few friends were like, what about PO-UP? Like you have it on most of the cards. So literally the next time I, had to get more cards produced, all I had to do was change the backs of the card to say PO-UP, the box of the card, and then the little Instagram handle on the bottom of the card. So it all worked out. And honestly, I like PO-UP more than Blackout.
Yeah, so do I. And, we talked about this before too, about getting your black card revoked. So I hope I don't get mine revoked when I admit this. When I first found your cards, I was like, what does that even mean? And my husband was like, PO-UP, like drink. I was like, oh. For all who don't know, yes, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. My husband is as well, but he grew up here. So he's like an actual American when I am not. So it's just like, certain things, even though I've lived here for almost longer than I've lived in Trinidad, actually, just some of those things I just don't pick up on. And I'm not like a huge music fan in general. So yeah, I got embarrassed. And, following you on PO-UP, I know people mess up the name a lot. So I know it's not just me.
Yes, you are not alone. You are not alone, but there are many big brands out there that to this day, people still get the pronunciation wrong. And sometimes that like adds to the mystique of the brand. Like I know Mael Organics, people always mispronounce the name, but you learn along the way. So
exactly. But yeah, the look that he gave me was just like, what is wrong with you? He was so disappointed. But that's okay. Whatever. It's fine. So yes, the game is lots of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. And the first time we got it and played, we had such a good time. And I like that you explained that it is for anybody who is Black and had a collegiate experience, because I went to super Black, the best, the greatest, Howard University. But my husband went to middle of the nowhere white university, not even like a big school like yours that had a community. There was like nobody. So playing with him was also kind of a different experience. So, everybody has their own. And I love that it's that you're celebrating Black excellence wherever it is in whatever situation. So that's great.
No, I mean, and that is exactly like, it always brings me joy seeing people who have had different college experiences still be able to like refer back to kind of like a similar experience, or being able to describe a unique experience. So like the other day on Instagram, I posted how when I was in college, when I dressed up for class, it wasn't even dressing up. I would wear leggings and a shirt. And like seeing the conversation of like, oh, I wish, or oh, I could never, like, no, not at my HBCU. And so just sparking like hilarious conversations. I've played with people in the military. I've played with people who graduated in the 60s and 70s. I played with kids who haven't graduated yet, who are still 21 and up. And so like, it's just something about it that still brings us together, and it's awesome to see it happen.
Yes, I love it. It's such a fun game. Tell me, what has been one of the biggest wins you've had so far?
So one of the biggest wins that we have had so far is being announced as one of 30 businesses selected to be a part of the Target Forward Founders Accelerator Program. So it's a program that's specifically for early stage businesses, letting us know the ins and outs of what it takes to become retail ready in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. And what's dope is that it's all Black, Indigenous, and entrepreneurs of color who are participating in the program. And so the 30 of us get to go through this intensive, 2 times a week experience from January 25th through March 17th. So I am super excited about it. It's competitive. It's the second cohort that they've had, and we get to be a part of it. It's so amazing.
Congratulations. Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations. So is this something you applied for?
Yes. I actually applied for it when they had their first cohort back in the summer of 2021, maybe the spring of 2021. That's when we were still called Blackout. And I was just getting started. Like that may have been one of the first applications I've ever completed for something. So I didn't get it then, but I applied a second time this past fall. I think it was probably fall. Yeah, I applied in the fall, went through the interview process and
wow.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So you apply and then you advance to the next round. And then you find out whether you are actually accepted into the program. And then you have a window of time where you can't tell anyone until they officially announce it on January 25th. So it's just amazing. And I'm honored and I'm humbled because I think as an entrepreneur, especially in the world of social media, it can be hard not to compare your business to similar businesses or just to other businesses in general and thinking that you should be at a certain point in your journey. But everyone's journey looks different. And so, just because this is something I'm a part of doesn't mean that people who are not a part of it are not having a successful journey in their business and vice versa. I'm just very excited about this opportunity. I feel like this is going to be an important pivot for Pull-Up Card Game.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations. I'm very happy for you. Yay.
Thank you.
All right. So tell me, what does it mean to you to be a Black business owner?
Being a Black business owner to me means just feeling a sense of freedom. I feel like recently, and a lot of Black people have been feeling this way according to research, just the 9-to-5 grind is very tiring. And I know it's a privilege to be able to say that, right? But it's been very tiring these past 2 years, especially in the world of COVID. And I am hoping to be able to make my business full-time, to have this sense of autonomy and freedom. And of course, the ultimate goal for me as a Black entrepreneur is building generational wealth. I saw something the other day that reminded us that generational wealth is not always financial. That's a piece of it. But generational wealth also means mental health. It also means just breaking generational curses and, creating our own legacy. And I feel like Black entrepreneurship is one of those avenues that will get me closer to those goals and hopefully get me there quicker. Not saying there's a silver bullet and, not saying that we just want a fast approach, but it just seems closer through entrepreneurship than it was feeling in my world of the typical 9-to-5. Now I know you're a doctor, so your 9-to-5 looks very different, but that's for me.
There's no 9-to-5. It's more like 12 to 12, 24 hours. But no, I definitely understand that. So yeah. All right. So, you touched on it a little bit, but if you can reveal anything else, tell us what's next for Pull-Up Card Game or for your, other things you have in store.
Yeah. So Pull-Up Card Game, right now we have one original edition and we also had a limited edition for UGA alumni. And that is actually what I'm looking forward to most. So once this scales, the original pack scales and does numbers, I am ready to develop more expansion packs
Mhm.
for specific colleges and universities. So I want to look at my current audience, get a feel for where they are attending colleges, where they are now alumni of these different colleges and universities. And yeah, maybe we have Howard next. Maybe we have Morehouse up next. Maybe we have, another big state school. Maybe it's
Yeah.
my rival of University of Alabama. But
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to having a whole bunch of different expansion packs for schools and universities that's legitimate, because I hope to have like a license and just the permission from the universities, and to be able to give a portion of the proceeds back to the Black students on those campuses. So HBCUs going
Yeah.
specifically to the students, but if it's big state schools, making sure that it's going to the Black student unions on those campus, and so on and so forth.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. Yay. Excited. All right. So tell our viewers where they can find you and Pull Up Card Game.
Yes, so you can find Pull Up Card Game at Pull Up Cards on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. It's the same handle, POUP Cards, which is plural. So at Pull Up Cards, and then you can find us online at pullupcards.com. If it's your first time ordering from us, you will get 15% off. You'll see that pop up on your screen when you log on to the website.
And you could also find them on bydefault.com. Yes, because Liz is a member of our By Default Business Tribe, and we are so happy to have you there. I really, really love this game. And, I'm honored that you agreed to list with us.
Oh, I'm honored that you provided us with the opportunity. And very early on, it's been amazing to see your journey and your growth, and seeing the website expand with more businesses represented. So congratulations to you. I know 2021 was quite a year for By Default.
Yes, thank you very much. So thank you, Liz, so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. And I congratulate you again on your big accomplishment. And I'm so excited to see what else is in store for you in 2022.
Thank you so much. Likewise, I really appreciate the opportunity to re-record. And I'm super excited to see everything that By Default has in store for you as well, or what you have in store for By Default.
Yeah. I don't know who's running this train right now. I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm excited. All right. That's it, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.
All right. Thank you.